This is the front curb sidewalk, and it's beyond the scope of this inspection, but it has sunken next to the curb and it's uneven. This might be a trip hazard. My understanding is in Dallas this is not yours. My understanding also in Dallas is that if you want to have this done, the city will coordinate with you. Unless they decide to do it themselves, the city will coordinate with you with one of their vendors and they'll split the cost, which I don't know, it kind of sounds suspicious to me. But, or you're doing it, but it's not your property. I don't know if it's your homeowner's liability or not. This is beyond what I do, but I'm just saying that if grandma comes over to visit you, you might want to, hold her by the elbow and kind of help her on into the house. This might be kind of precarious. But what we're here is a water meter test. I've been stalling a little bit because it hasn't moved. There's a little red dial right there. It's pretty serious, pretty sensitive. If it's moving, water's moving. And right now we don't want water moving, so it seems to be staying still. So for the purpose of this inspection, the home has passed a water meter test. So it doesn't have a lock in it. It's pretty easy to get up, and you might want to do that. Remember that, because this might be where you're turning the water off to the house. Remember that the valve parallel is on, perpendicular is off. You shouldn't have to turn that. You should be you're not allowed. You do not have permission to turn the water off at the meter. But we don't have, I cannot find, I cannot locate, cannot see a main water shutoff valve. Can't see one of those. Tree's too close to the house. Water heater pan, water heater TMP discharges too high. We're looking for between 40 and 80 psi. Got a torn screen right there. Look at that. Between 40 and 80 psi. Well, stop. Will you stop it? So our backflow device doesn't work. That's great. Alright. We don't know how many psi we have. We'll get another reading someplace. But yay. Keep going, bud. This is the main sewer clean out. Alright. I'd like it if there was two, but we have a main one. There might be another one someplace else. We're also missing, you'll notice we're missing our main sewer clean out cap. There's a secondary clean out on the other side around the corner on the primary bedroom, and it's missing its cap too. So we're missing some sewer clean out caps. Do not see a main water shutoff valve. This is what we might assume to be the lawn sprinkler check valve. We can actually see parts of it. Alright. I've actually had clients that have excavated those and found that they only had parts of check valves and the entire check valve was not present. If the check valve is this age, it would be prudent to budget for replacement regardless. The handles are all rusty, you can't get to it. This box should have been excavated so that you get your hands around the valves. The valves should have been serviced. The valves should not be rusty. The box should be lined with gravel. You should have a main water shutoff valve over here for the check box. There's just enough reasons to buy a check box right here and a check valve. And but this is where it's located. This is where it's located. So there's that. In the exterior video, you already saw this. The exterior video, I showed you that the lawn sprinkler system, its weather sensor is not operable. Coming over here, your spray heads are not supposed to be closer to the structure than 4 inches. Now they actually come out of the ground, but now they've moved. Speaking of moving, your irrigation line is supposed to be buried below the frost line. Okay, that's not a drip tube. That's the tree. This tree was a baby and it pushed it up. This tree was a baby and it pushed both of these up. These trees are pushing stuff around. That's your lawn sprinkler tubing. It's above ground. That can freeze. So what do we learn? We learn I think we have a leak, and we don't know what our water pressure is. You know what?